Hi everybody, it's Lace, and there's a tool that's now out on the World Wide Web that I think is pretty useful, and it's getting some feedback on the forums, and some folks are noticing it. And it's basically a listing of where players can upload their sales receipts, and we can start to see market prices and average prices and things like that. Now, right now, it's pretty skewed because some people had not cleaned out their mailboxes, and some people had prior to them putting a time limit of when mail would, disappear from your mailbox. But basically, anytime you go into your mail and you have a vendor set up, you'll get a receipt just like this. When I click this and I can say, okay, great, what's going to happen is I get my money and I get this item that I can have in my inventory, and I've actually saved all mine just because I'm weird like that. But what happens now, as of sometime in June, when I say take all, what happens is a copy of that receipt goes into my discarded mail folder inside my Shroud of the Avatar game folder. And let me show you where that's at. If you know where sheet music is in your install directory, I guess, well, your app data directory, um, it's just another subfolder just like sheet music, but let's go over to that. One second. So if you're on a Windows system, I'm going to hit start, and what I want to type in is percent app data percent, and that's going to take me to that location. And app data, if I go in there and stuff, then I can go into, let's see, Portalarium, Shroud of the Avatar, and what we're looking for here is discarded mail. And like I said, with sheet music, that's where you store your sheet music, where you don't actually have to have sheet music to play game or to play the songs and stuff. But for here, we're going to go into discarded mail, and I have a couple accounts in here, but you can see my discarded mail, and it started sometime in June, and these get appended to every time you discard your mail. Now, what we want to look at is a website. So let me pull that up. And the website we're talking about is shroudoftheavatar.net. Now, this is not run by Portalarium, so don't this is, you can't bug Portalarium about this website. It's .net, not .com, and stuff like that. And what these guys have put together is a great thing to where you can kind of get pricing if you're trying to see what something costs. You can see what the min max is and things like that. I'm just going to pick one of my own here and just songs. So here's a song written by me, okay? And we can see that I've sold 62 songs since I started going through my discarded mail and having it saved to that folder, right? And my price is always the same because of the amount of time it takes me to do the wood pulp and all that. I'm not changing that price. I don't care if people undercut and sell songs differently. They're not going to be the same songs I have because I edit each one. It might be the same song name, it might be the same group and song, but mine are edited differently, and I know that because I made them myself. So I always have a flat price. But anyway, as a person looking for things to sell, you can see what's been going on for the min-maxing of the cost of that particular item. Now, if I go back to this main page, let's look at some armor. And there's a search box up there, but let's see. Okay, so supple augmented leather chest of necromancy +8. Now the thing is, when you're looking at this website and thinking about it, that +8 armor, what was the durability on it? What were the stats on it? You can't see that. All you know is the base name of it and the plus and minus. That only had one sold. Let me pick something that has more than one. Sorry. Bad example. I want to look at something that's okay. Supple epic leather boots. We have 3 sold. When I'm looking at this, we can see that some are 7,500, 9,600, and one was at 15,000. And the reason you're going to have a price disparity is not because somebody's selling it too cheap or somebody's ripping somebody off. Remember, the durability and the actual stats on these items are going to vary. Something with low durability and high stats might be one price, and something with meh stats and meh durability might be a different price. So this is, you can't use this as an end all be all, but it's a great tool for just getting an idea of maybe a shopping list of things that you might want to buy. Now, some of the other portions of this website, um, again, these are all going to be skewed because of who had receipts and who hadn't discarded their mail. Somebody who had a huge mailbox full of stuff and never ever discarded it, like, and Vladimir's even posted on the forums about this. He goes, I had saved all my stuff up. It's not that they're that busy, it's just that they had that many more receipts than probably the typical player. Me, I go to my mailbox and discard my mail constantly, where somebody who had saved it up before they were forced to actually have to clean out their mailbox is going to have different results. So over time, the skew will even out. Now, the reason that the skews are there also, and you can't use this right now as a perfect price point tool, is because people have to participate willingly. And just like I showed you in app data where your discarded receipts are, you'll need to go into this soda vendor tool and upload your receipts to help crowdsource the receipts. Now, I only just started participating in this and only did some of my stuff because I was like, I didn't know if I wanted to, but then I decided I did. And what I go into is soda vendor tool, right? And you'll have to create an account and log in and stuff to upload your receipts. But you can upload your discarded mail, and they give you pretty much the instructions for it. And you'll choose the file. Now, I've already showed you, let's see, where to get that. And that's like where my settings are and stuff. And I got it from my folder. And yes, if you looked at my name, yes, my name is Siege. And it's not because we have sieges in the game. It's because it is my nickname. I say that in a few videos, but yeah, that's my nickname is Siege, not Lace. People don't call me Lace, people call me Siege. In real life, it's weird, but whatever. Anyway, you can choose the file and upload your receipts. Now, I think they have a parser with their parser that they're using on this. They'll know if it's the same receipt, so you can't try to fudge the numbers and stuff. But that's how you can do it and then submit it. So I've submitted 415 receipts. Now, I'll let you go in there and you can go into my receipts and it'll show you a breakdown of things you've sold and everything like that. It's really great. I was saving my individual receipts and kind of keeping a logbook, and I know a lot of people were keeping logs of what they had sold and who they sold it to. But now you can just upload the files, and guess what? You can get that same information. And then there's receipt settings where you can choose not to show your name. The prices will go into, let's see if we go back up here. The prices will go into these min maxes, but it's not, but you won't show in top sellers or anything like that. And if, like I said, when we go top sellers, you get the names of the people and stuff like that. Same thing with top towns. Again, this data is hugely skewed because not everybody is participating. Not all sellers are participating. I'm doing this video to encourage you guys to do it, because if you want to do your research on when you're trying to buy something or trying to figure out how to price something, it can give you some insights into that so that you're not selling something jacked up. Again, the only problem, and this is a buyer beware and even a seller beware if you're trying to figure out what to price something, when you're looking at pluses on armor and stuff, so like this, so there's only one. Okay, so there was two of these Ashen Wands. You can see a huge skew in the pricing. 35,000 versus 200,000. Something's highly wrong there. Somebody's ripping somebody off somewhere. But this gives you an insight into it, and without name calling. 200,000 for the same item versus 35,000. Probably there's some difference in what the actual things, the actual stats that were rolled onto it. But wow, look at that disparity. And that's, again, only the people that uploaded receipts. So don't use this as a Bible until more people participate. And then you will probably find, we'll find more medium kind of rating and stuff than this huge disparity on the same, what looks like to be the same item. Again, this one might have only had possibly, we can't see the actual stats on it because the receipts don't show the stats. They only call it a plus whatever. This one could have been, I don't know, a 10 durability, and maybe this one was 150 durability. I don't know. I'm just saying. And so that could possibly say why there's such disparity between the two. But it also could be greedy seller, not so greedy seller. You'll be able to identify the people that are hugely marking up things, perhaps. It's hard to say. But again, the price list, you can search like that, or you can use Control F on your browser to search for things. But it should start to give you an idea of what things are going for. So like, look at all these fragments sold. 1 to 1.5 to 5. Can't see that. Yeah, max price is 5. So you can see what things are going for in a min-max area. Again, this data is only going to be more valid the more people that participate. So by creating an account and going to the vendor tool and uploading your receipts, that's how everybody's going to get a good snapshot. Me as a programmer, I'm totally geeking out on what they've done. I think they've done a very, very good job in setting this up and running the reports and the queries and stuff. I think they've done a fantastic job. But again, its success is going to be dependent on you guys, the players that have vendors and stuff, and even folks that are just buying from buy orders. If you upload your receipts from when orders are fulfilled, those go into these too. Let's see, we go into this, and I don't know. I think it's in here. You can see the stuff that I bought. That's the orders fulfilled. That means I put a buy order up and somebody fulfilled it. I didn't want to show too much of my personal data there. That's just me, because I haven't uploaded everything and I'm still deciding what I want to upload, and I'm kind of editing my discarded mail things to only show certain things and removing other things that I don't really want to share with the public. And that's up to you too, as you can, I guess we could look at what's inside one of those files real quick here. Let's see, open with, let's just do Notepad. So this is what's in your discarded mail. So we can see the mail, and this is what they're parsing. So I had a vendor in Novia Market. I sold cotton epic cloth leg armor, plus 12, and there was one, and blah 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 blah, and who bought it and all that's parsed out way out to the end and stuff, just like what you see in your bank. That's that bill of exchange is that exact same receipt that you get in your inventory, and this is what they're parsing out to collate this data. Item 2. I don't know what the item 2 is. It looks like that's just how it's getting dumped to this file inside your game log. I hadn't had a chance to actually look at this, and I swear I've always wanted to write all the parsers for this and a combat, like the ACT combat parser. I can do all this. I just don't have freaking time to code it all. It's super simple, and what they've done is excellent. I think they've done a wonderful job. So anyway, this is the data that you're giving them and stuff. And so if you had the sale of something and you didn't want to put it in there, I could just delete it, save this file, and this would be what I upload. And that's how I can remove transactions from what actually goes there. That's just in case you want to, not show a certain sale for some reason. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what you would do. Maybe you sold a house for 1.5 million. And you didn't necessarily want to make that public. Again, you don't have to make any of this public. Let's go back. Because under my receipt settings, there's a thing here that shows my data in public reports, show my player name in public reports. So you don't have to do this. You can turn it off, whatever you want to do. That's up to you. The only thing that I can say is it wasn't wanting to save what I had set my settings to. And I also don't see a logout feature, because if, let's say I'm playing 2 different accounts and I don't want the data merged as one player or whatever, the receipt should pick up who the player and the seller was. I'd have to look at that. I didn't, in that long piece that, let's see, do we still have that open? No, I don't have it open. I was going to see if that long piece that looks like your bill of receipt, I guess that would break out the player that sold it and stuff. but I just don't see a log out, a way to log out of here and stuff. Um, but again, I'm sure that'll come. I just there's also, if you go to the home page and stuff, I think there's some little articles that might be helpful for some of you people that they've written. Different players have contributed to. Um, but really, I think the price list is where you're going to spend most of your time looking at things, and then again, as a vendor, uploading your stuff, and maybe as a shopper, Top Towns might give you an idea of where stuff's moving if you're trying to find a place to sell things. But again, right now, data is super skewed, just because of, it just depends on who's uploading receipts. I think once this catches on over the next couple months, then I would look at these things a little more seriously than any stats that are showing right now. So this is to encourage you to use this because, like I said, I was hesitant at first because I don't like sharing my data all the time, and you know, you know how it is. I guess I'm just a paranoid programmer, but whatever. I ended up going ahead and doing it, and now I fully support it and stuff, and I think I will use it for different things as well. There's just little things to keep in mind about don't read too much into any one thing and stuff, because especially on armor and weapons, because you don't really know how that thing was built. One other thing I want to point out in looking at the price list, I believe it does. Let's see, let me drill into one here. I've got something that has a, let me find a piece of armor that we have multiple of. Try to find one maybe. Okay. I'm trying to find. There we go. 6 of those. Okay. So one other thing to think about is min-max over this is the last 30-day graph, right? Um, let's see. That's showing a 30-day graph. What's important about this is, especially in thinking about armor and weapons and looking at this, is remember, let's say, I forget which release it was, but I think it was 2 months ago, possibly 3, where they changed enchanting and masterwork where you didn't lose the item. So if somebody was going for a 3-3 several months ago, the prices were going to be extremely higher for that same item than it would be for that same item today, because they had to not fail their rolls 6 times just to get that one item. Now it takes a durability hit when you fail the roll rather than losing the item. So the cost of items that were, let's say, a 3 masterwork, 3 enchant have gone down, or they should be going down. Now some people may still have some of the older stuff that they created months ago where it had to be perfect in order for them to sell them, and the cost to you as the buyer was hugely high because the cost to the crafter was hugely high. They might make 10 things before they got one that actually didn't fail of the 6 rolls in trying to do a 3-3. And I'm just making up stats. So probably min-max, since they're showing it 30 days, not lifetime, it's probably okay. But I don't know. I think this is over all time. I don't know that the min and max is set to a 30-day standard. So we could see some huge disparity between the min and the max depending on when that item was sold and when it was crafted and what the rules in crafting, well, these are banned things, but in armor, there could be a lot of disparity there. And again, just knowing what the data is that you're looking at, this is just one thing to keep in mind, that it was a lot harder to have a final product when enchanting and masterworking and trying to get to a 3-3 or a 4-4 or something like that. So the cost to the player had to be much higher because the crafter lost everything at one fail. They could be at 3-2 and everything's going perfect. It's great stats, and then they do that 6th and final masterwork or enchant, and the whole friggin' thing blows up. So again, these are other things that can skew the results and skew the min-max, but it looks like inside the actual item with the 30-day pricing, you can get it based on whatever crafting rules are in place. So even as we go through changes in the game and maybe other things change in crafting, by snapshotting it, that's probably going to give you a decent look at it. But anything that's like was done a while ago, as far as armor and stuff goes, um, the cost would have been a lot higher to the consumer, because the cost to the crafter was so high and losing everything. And think about it: if you're doing a 3-3, so that's 15 silver ingots, 15 gold ingots. Well, that's 60 ores and 60 ores. So that's 120 ores. So that right there, just in the ore, they're into well over 10,000 cost. And to lose that, that's not counting the materials that it took to build the item, and then trying to build an item that actually ended up exceptional to have the extra durability. So that's why things were so very expensive. One of the best changes they made was in not destroying the item. Now it means that we can try to enchant things a little, push the envelope a little bit more, and the hits and the durability. And I've talked about this in other videos. That's why you as a buyer really have to look at the durability when you're purchasing things from vendors. And I still don't understand. We added a date added to the stupid UI for the actual NPC vendors, or not NPC, but your commission free vendor slash commissioned vendors. But we still don't have a durability in there where you can just very quickly look at things. You have to mouse over each item to see what the durability is. I still don't understand the logic behind why a date added was so important, but durability, the thing that is so important on armor, is still not in the UI. Maybe you guys can bitch about that. I know I have, and it's falling on deaf ears, because that's the one thing as a shopper that I'm looking for when I'm trying to buy armor. And again, that's something you can't see here either, because it's not in the sales receipt. We don't have the stats of what was sold. So plus 15, a plus, here's, I don't know which one we were looking at that had multiple cells. Plus A, trying to find another one. Darn it. Well, we had that one example open. Bone helm. Okay, so bone helm plus 6. So somebody sold one for 400. Somebody sold one for 1,500, because we have two, so min and max. And so pretty cheap for the bone helm there, but look at the huge price disparity. Was this one made a long time ago when you lost it? Was this one made recently where you don't lose it? Is the durability like crap on it? I don't know. Anyway, I know I'm rambling on this, but this is a great tool. And but I just, buyer beware in using the tool. Don't read too much into it and stuff. Anyway, take care, everybody. Happy hunting, and be safe. And upload your receipts.